Good day, everyone. Good day, and another special person that's come with us today. Now, I like to somehow fly blind, and I don't really know this beautiful lady at all. But what happened was, I was in one of the groups on Facebook, and I saw this straightforward speaking person, and I thought, I like this person, and I need to delve in what this person is all about. And her name is Claudia Karba. Now, I know next to nothing about her, so we're both, you and I, are getting to know this woman for the first time. So what I'm going to say to Claudia is welcome, Claudia, and how are you today?
I'm very good. Thank you for inviting me. I mean, you're right. We literally just met yesterday by coincidence. I think we were in a group somewhere. Somebody was asking a question and I kind of just went straight in and gave them an answer, right? So, and I think that's how we met. And then we just decided that we should hop on a call and have a chat and find out, what it is that I do and where I'm based and what is my background and so on. So I'm delighted to be here. It's really nice to, I've actually very rarely do interviews. So, and there was something about you that drew me towards you that I really liked. I loved your voice, I love your sound, and here I am. The rest is history.
Well, thank you. I'm blessed to have you here for sure. And it was one of those things when I came across you, and then I took a snoot at your profile really, and looked at your timeline. And I thought, no, this is an interesting lady, and I've got to know her. So what we're going to do, as I usually do, traditionally, I just go with the flow, and we're just going to start and just give us where you're heading, where you're at the moment, and then we're going to take it from there.
Sure, absolutely. So I'm based in Sydney, Australia. I've been living here for a long, long time. You probably detect a bit of an accent. I was born in Slovenia and I moved here, gosh, probably over 30 years ago. So my story really is, depends how far we want to go, but I guess, let's talk about probably where I'm now and where I'm heading. So before COVID, I owned a digital marketing agency. It was more like a PR agency called We Are Social Media. And we used to do a lot of PR work, mainly for luxury brands, mainly watches. And it was fun. I had a good time, but I just kind of felt it wasn't really something I was really looking for. And I decided to launch my own marketing agency. We are social media. Sorry, High Ticket Virtual. With social media was PR. High Ticket Virtual is now the marketing agency. And during COVID, as you remember, everybody was panicking because a lot of brick and mortar stores were closing and shutting down. And my job, I guess, was transition those businesses to come across online. So it's purely more like a coincidental accident, so to speak. Most of us have really felt the COVID journey and everything that went with it. And I had a lot of businesses coming to me saying, we pretty much don't have revenue. We're kind of shutting down. We don't know what to do. So we were transitioning them online. And most of the people that used to come to me were actually coaches and service providers. And that's really how it started. Whether they were having an office somewhere in the city and they were working there, and of course they had to shut down the premises, and they weren't exactly knowledgeable about transition their business online. So that was the start. And since then, I guess we're talking now almost like, past 4 years ago, I've done a lot of different things for them and for myself, I guess. The first thing, obviously, that we did was teaching people how to design their own brand through their Facebook profile. As you know, a lot of businesses now have, their bio, who they are, what they do, the cover photo, and so on. And they're kind of selling their product and services online, specifically through Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, you name it, depending where they really feel comfortable having their own social presence. So I was used to just teach that. I used to teach them exactly how to create their own brand online without any ads, without any, kind of, hopping on people's sales calls. It was purely done organically. So we weren't doing so much ads as much, was purely organic strategies. And back in those days was a kind of a new thing. Not many people were doing it. So, we kind of, I guess we're in the golden era when everybody was kind of monetizing their skill set doing, organic marketing. And since then, really what happened with me, I used to grow really fast. I have a team of 15 people. We then can transition into virtual events. I will literally just do an entire virtual event for my clients, whether they're like 6-7 figure coaches, and they knew that they could monetize their skills if they were doing virtual events. We're talking back then, 5-day challenges, three-day challenges, workshops, webinars, and so on. So we literally did everything for them. That was a super high ticket offer. We're charging $30,000 per client. And as you can imagine, the stress was, mounting up, because while we're providing all the services for them, they kind of demand results. So we will build funnels, landing pages, running ads, teaching them how to present themselves on camera, how to sell. And I just felt, while the money was ticking along, I just felt really a little bit lost. I wasn't quite sure whether that's something I wanted to continue to do. I sort of felt a little bit of an anxiety coming, upon me. Like I couldn't sleep, I couldn't function. And of course, then you're having a team. Now imagining your 15 staff members, and you have to put fires. I just felt like I was putting out fires 24/7. And as you can imagine, also, like, well, we're doing 100K months. My gross profit, if I was lucky, I would have probably brought home $20,000, right? Because of all the cost involved, wages and all the softwares and all the apps and everything else that goes with it. Sales teams, VMs, sales closers, virtual assistants, you name it. We had a whole team of 15. And this is actually quite an interesting story, because I never really explained it, I guess. It's like during Christmas, this last year during Christmas, I almost felt I wanted to give it all up. Like I thought, this is it. I don't want to do this anymore. I think it's time for me to retire. All my friends would say, what are you doing? My partner said, retire, just be a lady of leisure, that sort of stuff. And I'm going, not exactly my kind of personality. But I almost gave it all up. And then I thought to myself, there's one thing I can try. I'm going to try one more thing. And if that doesn't work, then I'm definitely going to, shut everything down. And the one thing that I decided to do is I stopped doing virtual events for high tickets. And I wanted to really discover what a low ticket would look like inside a membership, like a community, building a community where people are gathering, where they're learning from one another, they're implementing, they're taking action, and they feel like there's a sense of community. I just felt there was a dysfunction a little bit. People were getting a little bit lost, even after post-COVID. Life was coming back to normal as such, but they felt really disconnected. A lot of people stayed home for 2 years, so they got used to staying home. They used not to go out. They used not to socialize. And, you can feel, I felt it. I felt there was definitely a disconnection there. And I thought, okay, let's give this a go. So I started offering low tickets. I'll explain in a minute what is my idea of a low ticket, because it's not really a low ticket. It's still a high ticket offer. It's just the way I presented it to them. So off I went. So I am now inside school, which I don't know if people are aware. It's a community, it's a platform where people can come in and they can teach any kind of skill set. And you can see people from teaching how to play the chess, the violin, how to dance, how to do breath work techniques, how to cook, how to garden. There's all kind of niches out there. So it's not just coaches. And that got me intrigued, because I thought there's a lot of people out there that have talent, but they don't necessarily know how to sell their talent. Most people who are coaches or service providers are not necessarily marketers. They don't know how to sell their product or services. So I started doing a community. I literally started a couple of months ago. So I have a couple of different tiers of the community. it depending on the level of accessibility that people need from me. Because at the end of the day, people are really buying access to you. They're not really buying your courses and modules and templates. They want you.
That's right.
Yeah, so we had different tiers, like, if you want to work with me, where we give you a little bit of velocity and fast tracking you from A to B, wherever they want to go.
Yeah.
I charge $100 a week. If they want to come into a community, maybe where they're just kind of starting out, they're not too sure about it, they want to get a bit of a taste of it, we charge $100 a month. And then we have people that kind of want a little bit more from me. Instead of their $100 a week, they might want me, instead of once a week, they might need me twice a week. So that's $250. And then we have a community of $400 a week of people that kind of just go, you know what, Claudia, I don't really have the time, or I really haven't got the patience to learn this on my own. Could you do it for me? Okay. Now, it's still very much a high ticket if you think about it, because the way I structure it, so there are $100. If you multiply by 52 weeks, it's $5,000.
Yeah.
Okay. So what really happened here, when I used to sell a high ticket offer, let's say $25,000, $35,000, a lot of people will come to me and say, I really want to do this, but I can't afford it. Could you fund the services? And we go, yeah, we can. We can provide funding, except 85% of the application were not accepted because people either had a bad scoring, a credit scoring, or they weren't earning enough money. And, it's always quite strict, especially in the States. You guys are scoring yourself on points and, depending on your credit card, and so on. So I thought, hold on, we're losing here 85% of revenue just because people can't afford a high ticket. What would happen if I just divided by the weeks and they can pay me weekly? And that suddenly everybody can afford it, right? Well, the people that, want to, because I don't get them to sign up to lengthy programs. There's no terms and conditions. They can leave anytime they want to. So they can, our payment is weekly. So they can show up weekly and they can cancel the following week if they want to, right? So I hold no prisoners. And suddenly all this thing happened. I was ready kind of to retire and give it a miss. And this started to start tickling along. And I go, well, maybe I'm on to something. Maybe this something could work, because what you're really teaching here other people, it's how to accumulate monthly recurring revenue, right? And for most coaches, they keep chasing a new client or a new lead, and they get one, and then they might have like dry season, for 3 to 6 months. So it's very unpredictable. It's not scalable, it's not predictable, it's not adaptable, right? So we thought, what if I teach them how to have a low ticket, a weekly payment option through school, and then they don't have to stress about, where the heck do I find the next client? So that's pretty much what I've been doing, and I'm sort of teaching other people how to do the same. So we literally have clients at the moment that they could do $100,000 a month on recurring revenue, because they have a skill set. They're very good at what they do, right? And instead of me teaching them what I always used to teach, and it took me years to realize I was making a big mistake, I used to teach clients how to build fancy funnels and landing pages, how to run ads, how to do all the fancy stuff. And I think what happened, I absolutely confused the crap out of them. They got really so confused that most of them were drowning. Maybe 5% were swimming, 95% were drowning. And I was wondering, why was this, occurring? And then it dawned me, and I thought, what if I just give them 2 simple Google documents where I can create an offer for them that is completely validated by me, right? Because it's working. All they have to do is cut and paste, put their own branding, put their own name, put their own service. And instead of spending $5,000, $10,000 on a funnel, on an offer that is not even validated, what if I just give them a done for you service? So all they do is cut and paste. They go off. I write the email sequences for them. They go off. I do everything for them. I show them what content to write. Off they go. Suddenly everybody can do that, right? Because I made it super, super easy. Yeah, and as a marketer, sometimes we feel like we have to make things complicated to make it worthwhile,
I
make
hear
it worthwhile for us to get paid, right?
That's right.
But yeah, and I thought, and that was it. So here I am now, kind of really super passionate about schools, super passionate about the community and the place that people are bringing together in that community. I have closed down my Facebook group a couple of months ago. I got hacked so many times inside Facebook. Like I lost 17,000 followers. I lost my account. They took my credit card details. They went shopping. Like it's a really, for me, it's a really unsafe place to be inside Facebook, and it's unpredictable and unreliable. So I shut down the Facebook group and I moved the community inside school. And I never regretted a moment of it. So yeah, that's really.
You've done amazing. You've basically reinvented yourself in just a short
I
time. Because
did.
you're talking from Christmas time. How long is Christmas? So you know, listeners, Christmas time is only 4 months ago from this recording. And she's
Yes.
literally gone from one thing to another, just reinventing herself, even though she was going to throw in the towel.
Yeah, I didn't know. I didn't know whether it was going to work. But I think there's something with us entrepreneurs where we keep shifting, right? It's like shapeshifters. We constantly reinvent ourselves. I mean, I have done so many different things, like, you know, from obviously PR, then probably to teaching people how to do organic marketing. Then I started doing virtual events. I've done about 40 myself, virtual events. They can make you a lot of money, but they are super, super exhausting. Like every time I finished one, it just took me like weeks to recover.
Wow.
I'm a bit of an empath, and I can sort of feel, and an introvert, so I feel people's energies.
Yeah.
So I just felt really drained after doing them, and I thought, well, if I feel that way, my clients must feel that way.
Yeah.
So I wanted to do something. I kind of look back and I thought, if this was me, if I was going to start all over again, what would I want to do, right? What would be the choices? Finding a method that has been validated and somebody just gives me, like, literally copy me, yeah, or try to do it the hard way. So I thought, well, it's a no-brainer, Claudia, it's a no-brainer. I will want somebody to do it for me.
I get that. What I'm interested in now is you've given us a huge amount of information actually, and we've been speaking now for 10, or you've been speaking for 10 minutes, and that's a good thing because you've given us a huge amount of information in a short time. But you somehow in COVID, a lot of people struggled in COVID, which is what you've already spoken about. And still you somehow found an opportunity in a situation where a lot of people felt there were no opportunities. And I'm guessing that you've gone through many stages within your life where there's a so-called lack of opportunity, but somehow you always find opportunity. Now, you found opportunity in COVID. When other instances in your life have you found opportunity when there was so-called, from most people's point of view, no opportunity? Could you take us back even further?
Look, I'm not totally sure. I guess it's something within me. It's probably my DNA. Like, you know, I was born in Slovenia. I was raised by a single mother. It wasn't an easy childhood. It was all quite difficult. You know, my mother was an alcoholic. So yeah, there were days where sometimes we didn't have food on the table. But, you know, and I've sort of learned how to grow up very quickly. So I became independent very quickly. I think I had my first job when I was about 15, I think. You know, I'm working down at the supermarket, you know, pushing trolleys around and, you know, filling up shelves at the supermarket. But I felt like I was worthy because I was earning my own money. And that kind of took me pretty much all across my life. So, you know, I was 18 or 19 when I left the country. That was during the Civil War, you know, and I came to Australia. I couldn't speak a word of English. I didn't understand a thing, you know. It was just like, but for some reason, I always find myself kind of bouncing back. So maybe it's something to do with the way I was raised. And I always found opportunity at leveling myself up. So, you know, my first job was probably, I used to do door-to-door sales. You know, a lot of salespeople have always done door-to-door. So we used to do door-to-door sales, selling photography, family portraits, and I could probably hardly string 2 words of English together. I wasn't very good at it. I failed miserably, right? But then the next job, obviously, I got a sales job. Then I went into sales and marketing. So that is my background. I got a degree in sales and marketing. I never really wanted to be a salesperson. I wanted to be a National Geographic photographer,
Okay.
but it's just the circumstances that took me there. And I kind of slowly leveled up. So by
Mm,
the time I was like 35, 40, I had some really good jobs in the corporate, in the fashion industry. I was in the fashion industry for 25 years
mm-hmm.
as a senior kind of sales manager, director, earning a lot of money. But again, I wasn't really happy. Like,
Mm,
the money wasn't necessarily making me happy. So I was actually quite miserable. Um, so I left, about 10 years ago. I
mm,
retired 10 years ago, and I thought, I'm going to do something on my own. So this is a completely different story. It has nothing to do with coaching. I started my own brand. So I started a brand called Sasha and Me, and Sasha is my dog. You probably might see her walking around, maybe. Um, and I started designing beautiful pet accessories and bags, or purely organic. And I just launched it.
right.
And we went worldwide. We had 150 accounts. We were in Milan, we were in Rome, we were in New York, we were next to Bottega Veneta and Prada and Chanel. And here is little me going, what the hell just happened? How did I make that happen? How is it even possible? But for some reason, I just went for it. I never thought, what if this goes wrong? Yeah. I just
Mhm.
thought, what if did go right? What could possibly go wrong then? So I launched the brand, and then of course burnt out again. Yeah, you can imagine.
Yeah.
Accounts, people not paying on time, warehousing, logistics, distribution, staff. So I sold the company. And then I thought, maybe, I'll start doing something a bit different. And that's where I am now.
Well, listen, I'm trying to delve into how you always seem to follow the yellow brick road. And what I mean by that is, and you're nodding there, and you understand what I'm saying, because you seem to see an opportunity, and what's the worst that can happen? You can fail, which is a good thing, because then you know what you
Mm,
need to do to improve that situation. So I'm hearing from you with this last story you just given us is that you're very good at following the yellow brick road. Now, I'm just going to surmise. You said you struggled when you was younger. You didn't have food on the table, etc. Now, was this part of the journey where you had to be resourceful? You saw your mother be resourceful. You had to make it happen, otherwise you didn't eat. Where did
yes.
that yellow brick road philosophy start? Where do you think that really started?
You know, I have to be completely honest with you. Like, even today, when I look at people, there's a lot of mindset issues. People have major mindset issues. Like, even with coaches, for example, I work with them every day. And I would say 90% of them have some kind of mindset issue. They're too scared to show up, too scared whether they're going to get hurt or embarrassed or make fun of. What will people think of me? I honestly don't know where I got that from, because I must be wired differently. I'm probably the 1% of people that go, you know what? The past is the past. The future will be the future, but today is today. Yeah.
Mm,
So I don't really wake up thinking, oh my God, what is it if something's going to go wrong with me?
yeah.
Right. I
Mhm,
mean, what's the worst thing that could possibly happen? You make a fool of yourself, you pick yourself up and you move on.
mm,
And I think this is where you learn. Most of
mhm.
the mistakes that you've made, this is where you become the better version of yourself.
Of
Because
course.
if you're going to make the same mistake again, then you're probably going to blame yourself for it, because hopefully you're going to learn from that mistake and not repeat that mistake. So I'm not sure. I often think of that because I see so many people feeling really overwhelmed. And this is the reason why I did what I do now, to make them feel at ease, to make them feel comfortable, to make them feel like, hey, I'm not going to abandon you. I'm going to go with you through the process. We're going to be just okay. Um, so I don't know if this is like a coaching industry that has that mentality, or it's just worldwide. I'm not sure, but I see a lot of it. I
Yeah, I must
see.
admit, I mean, me myself, I see the same mentality, but it's not just to coaching, it's just in general. And especially when it
Mm,
comes to online, because online is quite isolating, right? And so people find it very, very difficult to have the right mindset because you're very isolated. And
mhm.
if you're not careful with that isolation, you're lost very quickly.
Yeah, they're definitely isolated. And this is the reason why I'm a great believer that community is a place for people to find each other. Yeah, they have to find a place where they can feel they've been heard, validated,
Mm,
and they feel like they have a sense of belonging. So that's why I'm so passionate about the community. And it is very isolating, but I'm very much of a bit of a hermit, I guess. Like, I enjoy being isolated. I'm not scared about being lonely. Um, or alone, right?
mhm,
Obviously, there's a difference between being alone and lonely. I probably say I'm happier to be alone. I'm not so happy about being lonely. So I'm happy because I have a lot of friends and families around me, but I could literally, because I work from home now, I used to have an office and I thought, oh, this is just like, driving 45 minutes there, another 45 minutes back, and I'm, losing 2 hours just in traffic. I'm just going to work from home. That happened obviously after COVID. I can work from home and I can literally not leave the house for a week. Like,
mm,
I'm probably just gonna go downstairs and go to the rubbish bin and back. And I don't feel like I need to be a social butterfly. I
mm,
live by the beach, so I'll go for a swim in the morning. I get up really early. I go for a swim and come back. And then, I'm ready to rock and roll because I never really feel lonely because I always have people inside the online community
mm.
with me. But I realize there's a lot of people out there that do feel lost and confused and unsure, and really. And when I write content, like you probably seen some of my content, I have a lot of DMs, people coming going, "I think you just wrote that post for me." It
Mm,
had my name. It had my name on it,
mm,
and I go, "I'm ready." Yeah, so I go, "Let's work together." So I,
mm.
I sort of speak their language. I know where they come from. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think you do that from the point of view, you accept who you are
Mm.
who you are, and you say it as it is, which is what we were saying earlier on. It's a situation where you're straightforward, you don't hide anything, and you are likely to resonate with those people because you are open to the fact of who you are. How important do you think it is to be who you are?
Well, you have to be you because I think everybody else is taken, right? So you really have to be yourself, and you have to be transparent and genuine. I hear that a lot when people say, "I like your style because you're very transparent. You just don't take any crap. You kind of really being yourself." And you say you seem to be genuine. I often get that. So for me, it's like I'm always being myself. Sometimes I'm vulnerable, sometimes I'm not perfect, and if I'm not perfect, I'll let people know that I made mistakes.
Mhm,
Because I think there's a lot of that stuff inside social media when people portray they're somebody they're actually not.
mm,
And then when you meet them in real life, you go, "Oh, that's a completely different person," right? So that
mm,
they sold themselves like, this beautiful image of themselves living a perfect life, when
mm,
in reality there's so much stuff that is going in the background.
mm,
So
mhm.
you often see that it doesn't correlate, it doesn't marriage together. They're very, very different personalities. So I think I'm kind of just being genuine and being myself.
Mhm.
I'm just, yeah, I just don't know how. I want to know how to do anything differently. I'm just me. So
And I
and I think that's the best way to be.
and I think in a way it's easy for you to be because you accept your mistakes. You understand for you to be successful, you've got to make mistakes, and it's okay to make mistakes. And how important do you think it is to accept that it's okay to make mistakes and then just go forward to be genuine in that whole genuine
Uh,
situation?
100%, 100%. I think you'll find some of the most successful entrepreneurs, they made a lot of mistakes.
Mm,
And I'm talking about not just one mistake. I'm talking about two, three, four, five, ten
mm,
plus.
mm,
And they have that resilience of keep making mistakes and picking themselves and just keep continuing the journey. I don't think I've ever met somebody who's successful and say, "Oh, I failed once and I'm
mm,
not going to do the same mistake ever again." And they kind of retrieve. So you have to be really the kind of personality that has the opportunity to be able to see, well, that was a bit silly. It didn't work, but I've tried, right? And if I didn't try it, I'm probably going to be spending the rest of my life thinking, what if?
Yeah.
What would it be if I did try? And then have that sort of regret.
Yeah.
So you need to make mistakes in order to grow and learn.
Okay.
It's a very important trait, I think.
It is. I mean, I always say to my clients, look forward to making mistakes, and they go, huh? And I said, yeah, you have to look forward to going. And the reason why you have to look forward is because you're going to make them. So the quicker you make the mistakes, the quicker you get over those mistakes, the quicker you can be successful. So I always come from the point of view of mindset, because it's all very well giving them the blueprint, but that's irrelevant. What's really important is the mindset. Accept you're going to make mistakes, so look forward to them. So understanding the situation with that, how important is it to be consistent in executing what you need to do when it comes to making mistakes? Does that make sense?
Yeah, well, I think so. I mean, I think consistency compounds, right? So you have to be consistent with everything that you do. I see a lot of people they kind of try something and then they go, well, that didn't work. Claudia, I've tried DMing people, that didn't work. Okay, Claudia, I tried funnels, that didn't work. I tried running ads for 2 weeks, that didn't work. And they get confused because I don't think they spend enough time to actually really try something that actually works. So with me, it was like, even when I used to teach the Organic Leads Mastery, the program that I had back then, I was consistently teaching something that I thought they wanted. And and for months, sometimes probably even years, I'm thinking, well, what's wrong with these people? Why can't they just get it?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then it dawned me, and I goes, Claudia, I think you just made it really, really difficult for them. Because, I can come in and assume everybody knows what I know. So I will just go on and, tell them how they should do this and this and that. And they kind of give me their look, and it's literally going over their heads. And I'm going, what's the matter with these people? And then I thought, hold on a minute, they actually don't understand what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So that's when I learned, and it took me years to learn. I thought, well, you know what these people really want? They want to get a client.
Yeah.
All they want is to get a client. They don't want to learn all the other stuff.
Yeah.
So that's when I thought that was my mistake. So that was my failure. And as I say, it took me a while to understand that I did fail. I failed them, not so much me. I failed them because I thought I really made it really overcomplicated. But consistency is everything, because if you're not consistent, especially when it comes to social media, you need to be able to show up every single day. So I have 5 social media accounts, and I just write. I guess I'm a writer, and then I cut those content into different areas and then post them in different social media platforms. That to me comes very natural and super easy. For some other people, could be very overwhelming. And you'll be surprised the amount of people that go to me, I don't know what to write. I don't know what to say. Yeah, they're completely blocked from it. And I think it's because they don't really understand themselves, and they probably don't really know what they're selling. So they tend to retrieve a little bit because they're not too sure what they're actually offering. So that could be a little bit overwhelming for them. So that's that's something we teach in the program about, what kind of post to post, where to post, how to post, what's the difference between value post and, actual building the audience inside post, and, critical post and personal story post. So you literally have to teach them, because it's not something that comes very naturally from them. They're so being structured, teaching, like if they're coaches, let's say they are transformational coaches, or let's say they are health coaches, they're just teaching what they know, but they don't know the other stuff that goes with it. Yeah, the whole package. And to be honest, I don't expect them to know. They're not supposed to be marketers. They didn't went to university to study marketing, right? And they're kind of wearing 10 different hats. Oh, today I'm going to be a social media manager. Tomorrow I'm going to be a ClickFunnels expert. And then on Thursday I'm going to be an email marketer. And then I'm going to have to sell my product and try to close a client at the same time. Let's see how that goes. Like, it's really overwhelming,
It
right?
is overwhelming. No, no, totally right. And you know, and one of the things I like is when you analyze the situation to see how you can help your clients. It's you said further back that you noticed that you failed them. You've taken responsibility for that.
Mm,
That's a
mm,
great mindset to have because the thing is, if you're not in a position where you're accepting what you could do to help your client, your partner, or anybody, really, you then you're not in a position of power because if you're giving the blame to someone else, then in
yeah.
your head you can't do anything. Now you have that great mindset. How powerful is that to take acceptance for whatever's happening in your life?
Oh, super powerful. I often say it's my fault. Like, I had a conversation with somebody the other week, and I said, look, it's totally my fault. I take full responsibility for it, because I didn't teach one of my team members how to execute a certain strategy. I'm not going to get angry at my team member because I was the one that did not teach them how to do it properly. Therefore, it's my responsibility. I'm not going to sack that person. I'm actually going to sit down with them and say, you know what? I failed you. I'm so sorry.
Mm,
Let's go and see how we can fix that. Um, and I feel, there's been a lot of that stuff, like the amount of people that come to me on a daily basis and say, Claudia, I spent over $100,000 in the last couple of years and I still don't know how to get a client,
mm,
right? It's because they sign up to these amazing programs and masterminds where somebody's telling them that they're gonna, excuse me, that must be my little puppy. I don't know if you can hear her.
mm,
Puppy, she's blind and deaf, so she's probably looking for me. Sorry, come here. Mama. Sorry, I'm just gonna grab her quickly. So here she is. Sorry. So what they tend to do, they have all their hopes, right? They think, oh well, I just signed up to this amazing program. I'm just gonna pay them $30,000 and all my problems will be solved. Except when they sign up to this program, the same thing happens. They go into, finding all the templates and modules, and they find themselves really overwhelmed because it's actually a freaking course. It's not
mm,
a living, breathing program. The person that sold them the program is probably not even going to be there. You're going to find some young junior coach, teaching them how to do certain things. They might not get the support or what they need. So that, you know, that I hear that a lot. So I thought, yeah, I wish some of these people took the responsibility and say, you know what, yeah, we're in it for the money. And
mm,
now we're so sorry we didn't actually provide the help and assistance that the people actually needed. So
mm,
you're probably seeing less and less of those major programs around.
mm.
There's not that many anymore. And some of them have gone out of business because it was very difficult for them to sell another program that didn't provide any services or results.
Um,
Um, so
let's
yeah,
let's let's just touch on more of the responsibility side of it because there's going to be a lot of people out there that going to find it hard to understand, okay, how to do that because it takes a lot of ego. You have to get rid of a lot of ego. Now, let's go back to how you started because you naturally take responsibility. But was it always like that? Could you go way back? Was there a turning point in your life where you realized, you know what, so and so has happened? And I can be far more efficient with my team by taking responsibility. Were you ever at a transition in your life where you went from generally not taking responsibility to, you know what, that is the secret. I should take more responsibility. Can you think back to a time? It could go back to when you was a child, or it could be your first job. Can you think
yeah.
of a time where there was that aha moment when it came to that?
Where I could take more responsibilities.
Did something happen in particular?
Usually, I'm trying to think this going back years back, but it probably would have been something that maybe I wasn't really happy, like a job that I didn't really enjoy.
Mm,
And so that could be maybe the reason where I didn't take the responsibility. I didn't take the full accountability. I
mm,
was just there and I was just cruising and I just couldn't care less. I think that could be a place where I probably have been in the past.
mhm,
When sometimes you just switch off from it.
mhm, mhm,
You have a job, you get paid really good money, happy, and you kind of just go, you know what? I'm just here for the ride,
And
and
is
kind of just
this
switch
when
off.
the cycle happened, when this cycle of unhappiness happened, because you didn't take the responsibility? You know,
Hmm.
the same thing in, the same thing out. Is that what was happening?
Yeah. Yeah, we're just coming and going, and I just, you tend to kind of just shut off a little bit, and you kind of
Mm,
just go,
mm.
I don't care. So you just completely disconnect from
Yeah.
from reality, right? It's like this is the situation, this is happening,
Mm,
and you either have a choice whether you take it or leave it, or you do something with it. And there could be times where I kind of just went neutral, and I just thought, I don't care. Yeah.
mm, mm. And I believe
So
this is where a lot of the listeners are going to be at in a stage of, be their personal life or as an entrepreneur. They're feeling
mm,
that they're on this treadmill and the same thing's happening over and over again. And I think it's a situation where a lot of people just don't take responsibility and it's always somebody else's fault. And
yeah.
I'm a great believer, and it's because I'm a Buddhist. And from
Oh,
a
okay.
Buddhist point of view, we have to take responsibility. But
Yeah.
it's true. Once you take responsibility, and it's difficult at first, right? It's painful because it's me, it's my fault, and to go through that transition is very difficult. But I think it's a very important time in your life. If you can make that switch, then you're in the position to be able to switch your life almost instantly because you're in
Mm.
control of it. You can make that change.
Yeah, you have to make a decision whether you want to continue to be in that situation or whether you want to leave or stay. So I think, but a lot of people stay.
Yeah.
A lot of people stay in an unhappy marriage. A lot of people stay in an unhappy job. A lot of people stay in an unhappy house. A
Mm,
lot of people just go, well, it's the devil, I know. So I don't want to rock the boat,
mm,
and I'm kind of comfortable, right? So, and that's what happens.
mm,
People just kind of tend to just not do anything.
mm.
And I think this is where maybe the resentment starts to kick in. Yeah, the anger,
True.
the anxiety, regression, mental, health.
There's
There's
a
a
lot
lot
of
of stuff.
emotion.
There's a
Yeah.
lot of stuff that kicks in.
Yeah.
So you need to be able to analyze yourself internally. Like, why is it that I'm feeling this way?
Mm,
Um, am I 100% happy, and have I given myself 100% chance of happiness, right? So I think that is really important. Um, so I see a lot of people never leaving their jobs. So I mean, that is really not my expertise or my niche, but I have clients that focus on that. And I
mm.
can see that a lot of people are just happy, especially women. I think women hitting 40,
Okay.
they have really high corporate jobs. They go, I kind of feel like I've achieved everything I wanted to achieve. Now what?
Mm,
Yeah. What have I got left? So that's when everything kind of starts to crumble a little bit, and you get really kind of super unhappy. Yeah, super unhappy.
mm,
Um, so and this is the reason why I decided to do a thing on my own. So I honestly feel almost unemployable, right? I felt like I was unemployable because when I got to that stage when I didn't give a shit, excuse my French, I didn't care.
yeah.
I kind of just went into, oh, you know what? I'm just gonna collect the check every week, and who cares?
Yeah.
But deep down, I wasn't happy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was kind of eating me alive a little bit. I get the fancy cars and the travels and going to fancy dinners and
Mm,
buying nice watches and jewelry. I could have all of that. But I think the more money you make, the more you tend to spend and you don't value it. I will go shopping every single day of the week. And I used to buy just silly things that I didn't need, right? Now I hardly buy anything. Like I kind of, not because I can't afford it, but I kind of go, I'm happy. Like I don't need to buy myself and cover myself with stuff. You know what I mean?
yeah.
So the mentality kind of shift a little bit there. But yeah, some people just should never have a 9 to 5 job. I mean, somebody say to me, when can you guarantee me 100K month revenue, right? And I
Mm,
said, well, John, the only guarantee you're going to get of that is going back to your 9 to 5 job, because that's what you're getting paid now.
yeah.
Yeah.
Mm,
That is your guarantee.
yeah.
Being a sole entrepreneur, there's never a guarantee. I don't, most of us don't even know what kind of a week is going to be. Like, are you going to get paid this week? Are you going to get paid next
That's
week?
true.
Somebody's going to pull out,
Mm,
somebody's canceling. You know, you've lost 3 clients this week. Can you get the other 3 new clients next month? Like it's a gamble, you know, so you don't know.
Mm,
So if you're looking for stability, you're probably never going to find it. But if you're looking for a wild ride and an exciting life
mm.
with a lot of rewards and happiness, and of course, go and do it. Yeah, so definitely go and do it.
So what freedom do you think, as much as being an entrepreneur has its risk, what freedoms does it give, and is or could it be worth it?
I do it for the freedom. That's what I do it for. Okay. So I definitely do it for the free. I don't do it for the money. I probably don't have to work, to be honest with you. I do it for the freedom, because freedom to me is able to do whatever I want. I wake up in the morning with an alarm clock. Yeah. I can sit there for hours if I want to, have a cup of coffee, check my phone. I can get up, I can go for a swim, I can come back. The freedom to me, from where I was when I used to do, you know, high tickets,
Uh-huh.
working 30, 40 hours, yeah, like plus probably 50 hours a week, that wasn't freedom. I
Mm.
was making a lot of money, but I wasn't free. This is freedom now. I work
It's,
3 hours.
let me stop you just
Yeah,
quickly.
yeah.
So a lot of people will say, but hey, you've got loads of money, you can go on holiday, you know, I can buy what I want. That's free, free, free. Now, break it down. Why is that not freedom?
Because you're locked into a commitment.
Mm,
Okay, you're locked into a commitment because you're having clients 24/7.
mm-hmm,
They're very demanding. They're asking for a lot of things. You have to work. You get up at 8 o'clock in the morning, and you work until 10 o'clock.
mm,
That is not freedom. Yeah,
mm,
freedom is to be able to make your own choices. So I
mm,
make my own choices now.
mm.
So I work 3 hours a week. That's all I work, because I have
Wow.
3 communities. Yeah, I have 3 communities. So Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, each community, they see me. Okay. So it's 3 hours a week, and we make 5 to 6 figure recurring revenue a month. That to me is freedom, because I can go on a holiday without stressing. I can see my family and friends without being away or locked in an office somewhere. You know, I can travel, I can do whatever I want. That to me is freedom. Choices. Yeah. So that's way more important. I think you get to a certain stage in your life. Like, I mean, I'm 61, right? So I'm not spring chicken, but you get to a certain stage in your
I'm going
life
to
where you
stop
cannot
Claudia
go.
there. I'm going to rudely stop her. She says she's 61, but I think she is lying. You can't see her, podcasters, but
Oh no,
she
right?
looks amazing. She is not 61. I thought she was transparent, but she's not.
I turned 61 on the 6th of April. So as I say, I'm not a spring chicken. I've been around the corner a few times. So for me, freedom is everything. Yeah. So I might have maybe a few, like, let's say another 5 years. And fair enough. If I was 20, I'll be going for it, right?
Yeah,
30, even 40.
yeah.
You get to a certain age, you kind of go, is it worth it? So I get to choose what I want to do. And I
You
get
get
to
to choose your pace
choose my clients.
and your pace.
Yeah. Yeah. And I get to choose my clients. So that's a big difference, right?
Mm,
So when you're working really hard and you're building, when you're growing a business,
mhm,
yeah, you're not scaling a business, you're growing a business. That's
mhm,
when you have 15 staff members. That's when you get 10, 15 clients. You'll take anybody with a heartbeat and a credit card, right? But when you're scaling a business, what's happening when you're scaling? You're trimming away things that no longer serve you.
mhm.
So I trimmed away. I didn't need a team of 15. Right now, I have a team of 2. It's me and my VA.
Wow.
Okay. That's all. Of course, there's the other side of my business. Uh, in that side of the business, like the done for you services, well, I have 3 more team members in there. But this module, this offer that I'm currently working on, I designed it specifically for a solo entrepreneur.
Mm,
I wanted to prove it that you can do this on your own, or with a VA,
mhm,
and you can definitely do 6-figure months. So the VA for me, all she does is download some of the templates inside the community, and she sends out the emails. I'll write an email a day, and then the rest is it. I've
wow.
write my own content. I write my own, I write my own content. I don't get a copywriter to write it. I do it myself.
Mhm,
Um, And it's all, you don't need a big, there's been that bro culture, right? The hustler.
Yeah.
When you have to, if you want to grow to 5-6 figures, you need to have a big team. You need to DM people. You need to do sales calls. I haven't taken a single sales call in over 12 months.
Wow.
Not a single sales call.
That's an amazing system you've got set up for sure. And for you to get to this stage, obviously you've had to go through the process. It's not something, I mean, when people are coming to you right now, what they're doing, they're buying into your experience. So they're able to shortcut, not to completely bypass the process, but shortcut the process. But would you, do you agree that it's for you to get to this stage, you've had to go through the process? And if you agree to that, what does the process mean to you?
Well, the process for me, obviously when I first trialed, it was about what everybody told me to do, right? Claudia, you need to have a team, you need to have a sales closer, you need to have a VA, you need to have virtual assistant that, DM people and spam people and annoy people, you need to hop on a call. I used to book my calendar. Like, I can't tell you, it was from 9 o'clock in the morning until about 6 p.m. or 7 p.m. because of the time difference, because I'm based here in Sydney. And I will literally sit here looking at Zoom and waiting for somebody to rock up. And 80% of the time people won't rock up because they panic, because they have to make a decision, right? They panic.
Yeah.
So they don't show up. So I thought, well, that's great. Cross this one off and cross this one off and cross this one off. And I thought, that is not the most productive way to spend my day. Yeah, it just didn't make any sense. So yeah, I have to go through the process. I have to learn the hard way.
Yeah.
So basically what people are buying is 25 years of my experience,
Right.
all the trial and errors,
Yep.
all the investments that I ever made. I probably spent over $150,000 on mentors. I've done it all. So then that's when I sat down before Christmas and I go, that doesn't serve me. That doesn't serve me. That was a failure. That was a mistake.
Yeah.
I'm not doing that again.
Mm.
Yeah. So the way I packaged it, it's like, steal it from me. Steal it from me.
Yeah, no, totally right. And I usually say to the listeners that the process is very important, and there is a process in life. It doesn't matter whether it's personal or it's business, but you have to go through the pain points. It's the only way to, as you say, trim as you go along. And so many people are just, or they just want to skip the process completely different, or completely. You can shorten it by going to such as yourself and whatever, because you're picking up and reading a book and you're looking into people's lives, right? And they're showing you how they did it. But there's always a process that's got to be adhered to.
Yeah, most people want to, get the results, but they don't want to get involved in the journey or the process, right? They're just gonna, I want to be a multimillionaire, I want to do this, I want to do that. But when you tell them what's involved, they kind of go, oh, that's too hard. I don't want to do that. Just wire me the money in my bank account.
Yeah, exactly.
That's always how it feels, right? Yeah, I want to be successful. Yes, I want to be free. Yes, I want to do what you do, but I don't want to put in the work. Yeah. And I go, well, and this is a classical example, like when we used to do virtual events. We will do literally everything for them, and I say, all you have to do here is press the button and go live. And then I'll sit there and I'll watch them and I'll go, oh God, this is going to be a disaster. Like, I could tell. Because there's one thing I can't do for them is teach their product or services, right? They need to be able to do that themselves. And most of them, well, if they weren't experienced, they did fail, because they didn't know how to sell themselves, or they didn't understand their offer. So the moment I saw them going live, I went, oh, that was a waste of 30,000. Yeah, I just knew.
So is that because they didn't do their homework, basically?
It's because that, a lot of people don't know what they're actually selling. They don't really understand what they're selling. So it's a bit of that uncertainty. So when they come to me, they also say, Claudia, can you write the offer for me? I can tweak it. I can do certain things for you, but I can't be you. There's one thing I can't be, right? So they're kind of looking for somebody to give them all the answers and the structure of their offer. And so But even when I kind of put it together into a Google document, they will still say, how do I sell myself? What do I say? Because it could be I mean, I have to be honest, I always feel a bit uncomfortable going in front of like when I record videos and I look at myself in front of my phone, I feel like a duck. I feel so out of the water. Like, I
Painful.
mean, this is so not me, right?
It's
I
painful.
feel like an idiot talking to myself, right? And so it's a process, right? You get better at it as you do it more and more and more.
Yeah,
But some people feel really uncomfortable when they go in front of the camera, so it takes a lot, right? So there's something I kind of felt like, yeah, that's going to be hard. It's going to be hard for me to transition them for where they want to be, because they don't really understand what they're actually selling.
Yeah, no,
So,
no, I totally understand that. I mean, I understand their pain, and everybody's got their own pain. I couldn't stand using my voice and my face for years.
oh, but you've got a beautiful voice. That's why I'm here.
Everyone says that, but I couldn't see it myself. So what happened is that 2 years, I said, I am sick to death of people contacting me and saying I should be doing voiceovers, and I've got a beautiful face, and so I'm going to do something about it, because why am I not seeing it? So what I did, I spent 2 years going through the pain and putting myself and forcing my face out there, just for about 5 seconds at a time. Then I increased it to 10, and so on and so forth. So it's taken me 2 years to get to this point, to be able to show my face and use my voice. Very sad, I know, Claudia. So,
but this is very normal. This is very normal for every single person, right? Every single person has their own voice and their own sound and the way they look and the way they present themselves, including myself. I think it's just universal, right?
It is.
Yeah, it is. I think it's universal, unless you're really cocky and arrogant, and then you kind of really feel like God's gift. I'm sure that happens, but most of us are kind of a little bit vulnerable in front of a camera. But I think the secret really is to get to know your clients better than they know themselves. Okay, because it's like a mirror. They don't see themselves, but I see them. And this is where you kind of pick up the energy and who they are. So if you get them to understand better than themselves, and you get them to get the answers that they never ask, they often never ask the right questions. So if you provide the right answers to them without even asking, I think you probably will get to know your client really well.
And how do you do that, Claudia? There's a skill in that.
I've always been very intuitive with people. So as I say, I'm an introvert and a bit of an empath. So I feel people's energy. I feel their aura. I feel whether they're anxious, whether they're angry, whether they're happy. So every couple of months, I need to kind of go and detoxify from it, so to speak. So I read people's mind. Like somebody could walk into a room and I can tell you in the matter of 5 seconds about who they are as a person. Something that you just either born with it, or you get better at it as the more you're meeting people. So I'm lucky that way. I'm kind of very intuitive, but I just love people in general. Like, otherwise I wouldn't be doing what I do. I love to listen to their struggles and their fears, and we make sure that they kind of convert into a better version of themselves. Because I think really what they want is they want some kind of validation. People want to be loved, cared, and recognized, right? So this is really like universal love. So if you're able to give them that, then you're probably going to get them with you for a lifetime. They never want to leave you. I have some clients with me that have been with me for 5 years, and they just keep staying. It's almost like you're building a friendship, right? You're becoming your best friend. It's not just a client.
No, totally, and I can see that, because you come across as if you have some kind of empathy, and because you have that empathy, how important do you think that is to have that empathy, and how much of it? Because you've got to be careful how much empathy you've got to have.
Well, you need to have a little bit of what's the word I'm looking for? There's a word that everybody's using at the moment. But you need to be able to know when enough is enough. Some boundary. You need to learn a little bit of boundaries, because what's happening here, especially people who are sometimes a little bit needy, and they need some, recognition, they tend to kind of consume you all the time. They keep buzzing you, free advice, do this, do that. Claudia, can I ask you, can I pick your brain? Can I do that? So you need to somehow remove yourself from it. So this is why I do the community, because when they start texting me and calling me and say, could you do me a favor, please? And I say, I love you, but can you just ask the question inside the community? And I'll reply to you as soon as I can. Yeah. So it's not like, otherwise they're constantly looking for, you know, I need you. Empathy, I think, is something that I probably learned as a child because, you know, obviously, again, because of my background, the way I was raised. So I picked that up very quickly. I remember my mother always used to say, you know, never trust a person that doesn't have a pet in the house or a book in a bookshelf.
Really?
You know, and I always remember that. I always remember that every time I walk into people's houses, I kind of look at the bookshelves.
Oh,
And
are
whether they
you
have,
really judging people?
and whether they have a cat or a dog or a bird or something. So I always say, you know, you will know that people have empathy usually, you know, they love the vulnerable people, and usually it will be children and pets and, you know, and innocent people. So you need to be able to do that, you know. So yeah, empathy is super important for me.
Okay,
To
and
be able.
what other things other than empathy do you think is very important to be able to engage with people? And I'm not just talking about clients, but I'm just talking about, you know, personal relationships at the same time to help both in business and in personal. What other traits do you think we need to help things, just to make a little bit things easier for ourselves and other people?
Kindness. I think you know, and we need to be kind to one another. I think that's very important. Um, Not so judgy. Like sometimes people are really quick at judging, you know, and they kind of have this kind of facade, you know. They go, "Oh, I already made up my mind. I already know who this person is." Instantly they won't like them. You know, social media is a tough place, so it could be very judgmental, you know, and I see this on a daily basis, you know, specifically for successful people.
Okay.
They cop a lot of crap, yeah, from people that perhaps were fearful to be successful
Yes.
or resentful because they haven't been successful.
Mm,
So we see that a lot on a daily basis. They, you know, they bully, they make fun of. And like you can see that through social media content posts or even like through ads and things like that. The
mm.
amount of crap that goes down is quite fascinating. But I think it's to be kind to one another. Acceptance, you know,
Yeah,
we come from all kind of different background, religion.
yeah.
I think you need to be acceptable, people in general,
I think
kind and loving. I think that's really will make a huge difference in the world if we all kind of group together as a community again. You know, I
yeah,
keep saying community because I think this is so important. um there's just too much
yeah.
anger and horrible things happening in the world today. About it'd be nice to be kind to one another. I think that's really important.
I think what you said about acceptance is very powerful because as much as I'm Buddhist, I don't really care what religion you come from, and especially
Yeah.
from the mindset where what we think is right today, we may think tomorrow, because we're always growing as people, right? We're always
Mm,
improving
mm,
ourselves in one form or another. So as far as I'm concerned, I don't really care what you do, as long as you don't affect an innocent person or a child. That's all I care
exactly.
about. Because
Yeah.
what you think is great today, and I may think 5 years time, oh, I get what that person was saying, and I want to take that on. So
Mm,
acceptance of other people's cultures, other people's religion, I think is very, very important. And especially if you want to be on the online space where the world is becoming smaller, more
mm-hmm.
communities are coming together. I think for you to be successful, or to be in a position where you're going to put yourself through less pain in trying to connect with other people, you have to
Yeah.
have that acceptance, because you're amalgamating with so many different other cultures, etc.
Yeah.
And I think,
Oh, yeah.
yeah, and I think it's very important. And for me, it's very important as a person to grow, where you've got to have that acceptance, and
Mm.
that's a very powerful thing to have. And I'm
Yeah.
glad you have that mindset too.
Yeah, I tend to stay away from politics, right? So on
Oh,
social
same here.
media, On social media, I don't get involved in politics, religion, and other people's opinions, right? Because I think what it does really as an entrepreneur, it shows that you have a very low level of tolerance, right? So if you're not tolerant, it means that you could probably very easily kind of get judgmental. And, you know, when it comes to working with clients, you can't really afford to do that. So it's really kind of, for me, it's like always been Switzerland, very neutral. So I never really talk about it. And I always encourage my clients not to do the same. Because I sometimes see people going and complaining about something on social. And I'm going, if you get so triggered and angry over this tiny little thing that just happened, I hate to think how you working with your clients and the kind of support that you provide them. So I tend to really not really get involved. I just kind of keep it really professional and talk about business in general. Yeah.
How difficult is that with the landscape of where it is, and certain things are quite toxic at the moment? How difficult or easy is it for you to keep on the straight and narrow, considering that a lot of people are toing and froing with different subjects?
Yeah, it's sometimes I have to bite my tongue, you know, like you read it and you go, oh, I'm so ready to press that button. Yeah. But yeah, no, I just kind of just get up, you know, go for a walk and come back and kind of just, you know, think about something else. I made a mistake. I think it was like it's probably about you know, when all this the war happened in Israel and all the drama that happened on social media. And I think I just made a tiny little comment about, I think it was back in the days when Israel bombed the hospital, you know, as you would remember. And I made a comment, and I think I was put in jail, Facebook jail, for a month. I got put into a naughty corner for a month, and I wasn't able to post or go live or do nothing. And I go, well, there you go. We are in a social media environment where you don't even have a voice. You don't even have an opinion.
I agree.
Unless, you know, you're inside in Twitter somewhere or something like that. But, you know, Facebook is very kind of, you know, controlled. So I thought, well, that taught me a lesson. It was nothing really drastic. I just made a really silly comment about, you know, how I did not agree about what happened. And I got put into, I got put into a little naughty corner for about a month.
No, I totally agree with you. I mean, we're both very straight talking people, and years ago I was so straight I got banned left, right, and center on all the media accounts. I learned, okay, can I not say what I want to say?
I know,
and
it's like
learned,
I don't even have an opinion, right?
Yeah, exactly. And you're going to play by the rules. You're either going to play by the rules, or you're going to. So, and now I have to bite my tongue. And let me tell you, Claudia, it is very difficult, but I've got no choice. I've got no choice, right? I'm very proud of who I am, so I've got no problem saying it as it is, but I can't. So you have to just hold it down and just be professional, as you say, and be straight.
Because you know, I guess people come on social media, and social media is an interesting concept because it's meant to be a social platform where people can, you know, back in the old days we were to talk about holidays and weddings and, you know, getting a new puppy. So we're kind of going into that, and now suddenly, you know, we're turning into our profile, into a professional profile. So it's almost like we forgot about who we really are. Like I don't really post much about, you know, my dog or my holidays or who I am as a person. You know, every so often I will say something, but it's just purely just kind of, you know, it's just, you know, churn in and churn out about work. And I have to be honest, there's some mornings when I wake up and I go, I just really feel flat today. I just got nothing to say because it's all work. And I said, I just want to say anything at all. So if you don't have anything to say, just don't say it. So some days I just go quiet for days and I just reflect and work and say nothing. But, you know, you have to be present. If you're doing organic, you have to be present. You have to be out there.
Could
if you're not relying on it.
Could it not be important just to put a little bit more of yourself to make it more personable, so you're more does that make sense?
Yeah, it does make sense. Occasionally I'll drop something here and there, but I feel like it takes so much energy out of me because I think there's so much vulnerability, you know, because there's a lot of memories of my childhood, I guess, and I just feel really vulnerable if I was ever going to say. And there were days when I did say something and literally, like, you know, my inbox explodes. But I just feel like there's certain part of your life that they're probably better off kept private.
I get that. I
Yeah.
get that,
So I just,
but I would say, I mean, definitely there's, excuse me, definitely there's things that you have to keep private because that is private. But there's other things, showing your vulnerability also. What I've noticed, it allows people to connect with you that much more because, hey, you are a real person, right? And
yeah.
you're a beautiful person at the end of the day. But the only way by showing that beauty, or number one, you already do that by being straightforward. But number two, just showing those individual vulnerability is like you're reachable and they can connect with
You're
you.
real.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're real. And most people
Yeah.
at the moment, especially when it comes to a professional profile, a lot of people are just keeping it straight. And I just do that, and that's all I do. But if
Yeah.
you're very good at what you do business wise, that shows heads over heels. But if you're also showing that you're the kind of person I can sit down and have a cup of tea with and a coffee and a slice of cake, then that's the kind of person I want to do business with, you know?
Yeah.
So does
Yeah.
that make sense? Just putting yourself a bit more in?
Yeah. Totally. Totally. Yeah, I totally agree with you. These days when I feel really kind of open,
Mm,
and this time maybe I want to say something that I probably wouldn't say, and I find it
mhm,
kind of really kind of oops, I wonder how people will take that, kind of because it's personal. I have done that in the past, and as I say, I used to get probably the most comments because people somehow relate to you. People want to be
that's right.
relatable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Well, this happened to me. I can relate to this. This is
That's
what,
right.
she's not perfect. Oh my God, she's had
That's
faults,
it.
you know. So that's how people relate to you the
Yeah.
most. Yeah. This is something that happened to me. I can relate to it. Yeah, I get it. Yeah, totally. So that is something that is really important. But I see sometimes people kind of really kind of going a bit too much
Yeah.
information.
There's a balance. There's a balance.
Yeah, and then I go, ooh,
Mm.
ah,
I don't know if
ah,
I want to talk about that.
too
Not
much,
quite.
sister,
I'm not
too
ready for
much.
that yet. Yeah, no, you're totally right. I'm just, and what it is that you're an amazing person. I've read some of the stuff you've put in your profile in the last 12 hours, and
Okay.
writing is sublime. And the great thing is, it's not done with the AI situation. It's not purely. It's
No,
well,
I
you
refuse to
can
use. I
feel that.
refuse to use all this ChatGPT. I'm gonna use my brain until it functions, right? I
Yeah,
promise myself. I'm gonna use my brain until it functions. Now, I speak 4 languages and none of them well. Okay, so I'll probably make spelling mistakes and I
that's
probably
good
don't
though.
speak right.
Oh, but that's good.
But yeah,
That's good making
yeah.
spelling
I
mistakes.
often laugh about. I often laugh about it. Say, hey guys, don't
Yeah.
take me seriously. I make spelling mistakes. If you're looking for a client who does not make spelling mistakes, do not work with me. Okay.
Totally. No, but that's totally good because I mean I'm dyslexic, and the thing is I've made mistakes, and it's not just spelling mistakes, but it's just the wrong words where it's supposed to mean one thing and I've said the opposite, and I thought,
Yeah.
oh, Eli's just. Do you know what? But I've given up. I am who I am, and it just makes
Yeah.
people to smile knowing what I meant, but that
Yeah.
it makes people
They get it.
smile and it makes people reach out to me. And again, that's
Mm.
something that's unique to me. And I think those
Yeah.
things are important, not to try and be perfect. Perfection is not perfection of what you think it is. Perfection is really just being you and just being real. That's where
Mm.
perfection lies. Well, for me anyway. And I
Yeah.
tend to get more feedback when I'm just myself, and doing what they say, Eli's rants, because sometimes something will happen and I'll bin up my phone and video myself. I cannot believe it. This person, and I'll say something, and I'll have that rant, and just be myself. But I'm ranting about something that really matters. It's not
Yeah.
silly or whatever, and people appreciate it. And then they contact me and say, you know what, I love your rants because of A, B, and
Yes.
and this is where perfection, I think, lies. It lies
Mm.
where you're just spontaneous. You are who you are, and then people remember you because you're the only one that does that.
Yeah. Yeah. It's your brand. It's who you are, the brand, and people will remember you for who you are. I totally agree with that.
Yeah. So, and you're the mistress of branding because you've been working on it for many a year. So, when it comes to branding, what would you
Hmm.
say to people? 3 things that's significant for branding.
Well, usually probably people expect for me to say things about your color palettes and your fonts and the beautiful, wonderful things that goes with the branding. But I will just be honest with you and say the branding for me in today's world, it's you. Okay.
Mhm.
People will remember you for who you are and what you do purely from your content, from your post, for what you're saying, for whether you're doing videos or reels or TikToks or YouTube. That is your brand. You are the brand. Yeah. It doesn't matter. Let people go, oh, what do you think about this beautiful font and this beautiful design? And, I want to go pink or blue. And I go, no one cares. No one cares. Yeah. What they want is you. People buy from people. They
Mhm.
don't buy from, beautiful branding. Of course, it helps to have a kind of a branding, kind of presence.
Mhm.
But at the end of the day, I have to say, in all the years that I've ever worked, I didn't have a website until about a year ago
Mhm.
because no one's ever asked me to give them their website, my website link. Claudia, can I have a look at your website? No one has ever asked me. Okay.
Mhm.
So I thought, oh, well, I don't need a website. So I literally just did one last year because I thought, well, maybe it's about time I actually have one. Or Claudia, can I have a look at your program before I make a commitment? No one's ever asked me.
Wow.
I think one person asked me about 2 weeks ago about testimonials.
Okay.
That was the first off, and I got a file of 100 video testimonials, and I don't often post them or promote them because people need to understand that whatever client was able to achieve with me through that testimonial, during that journey, it's going to be a very different journey for this new client that is maybe thinking of working with me, because whatever they're putting in,
Mhm.
that is the result that I probably should be expecting. So testimonials are great to have. It's good for your ego, but it's not going to get you clients. Okay. So the branding, I always say, it's you, it's who you represent, it's how you show up, and what are you actually teaching people, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
Are you teaching, if there's a transformation kind of process, people will remember you for who you are.
Mhm.
If you're teaching them to make money, they're going to remember you to make, revenue. If you're teaching them to be healthy, they'll remember you because you are slightly different to the other coach that is teaching you how to lose 5-10 kilos. So the branding is really you in today's world. 10
Yes.
years ago, if you would ask me this 10 years ago,
Yeah.
I'll be going into the spilling of the Canva template and the modules and the fonts and the colors and all
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
That was branding back then. But today's world, you're the brand.
So the more you put yourself out there, you have to go through that pain of putting yourself on video. Ideally, you need to show yourself. They need to hear you. All these things, because there's a big culture at the moment where people
Mm,
are faceless, 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 and I'm seeing this hugely. And I think it's partially being pushed because technology is making it easier from so-called AI. I have
hmm
some clients that like to do faceless, but I always
Yeah,
try and get people to use your face, use your voice, because again, making it personal, right?
yeah, yeah.
Are you against the whole, pushing out the faceless thing, and why?
Look, I'm obviously old school. The faceless thing works really well for the younger generation. You're going to start seeing a lot of faceless content coming out, and they're usually like 20, even below 20. It's because most of it is done through artificial intelligence, so that
Mhm.
you'll be seeing a lot of content, and it will kind of just all blend in. I think sometimes I look at all this content and I'm going, I don't even know where I am, what I'm watching, who I'm watching. It kind of just blasé, right? So that kind of doesn't really come across to me as something that is really significant. People will kind of watch it because people are scrollers. You got to remember, people scroll all day long, right?
Mhm.
And apparently they scroll as far as the Eiffel Tower, apparently. Yeah. They start in the morning and they go all the way up and they walk all the way back down. So that's the scrolling idea. So unless you have something really compelling to say,
Mhm.
they're not going to stop. So you need to be able to kind of capture their imagination, or be able to kind of refer to their customer or client pain point, and they'll
Mhm.
stop scrolling. They go, oh, that's me. She's talking about me. I better
Mhm.
listen. Yeah. Um, no, I can't fight it. I think that is the future. That's what it is. But for me, most of my clients are in their 50s. They're kind of my generation, 40, 50, 60. So the content that we write, the content that we portray and sell, it's really who we are. Now, I also want to say something, because a lot of people get really overwhelmed with videos and content and reels and all that sort of jazz, and I really want to say, don't try to be Alex Hormozi. He does 50 videos a day. And the way they do it, obviously, he has a long content and they cut it into, 10 a minute or 50 seconds, so that they can create a whole story there.
Yes.
Most of us are not Alex Hormozi, so I will never advise anybody to go out there and create 100 videos in one go. I created about 20 videos in March, and this is something that I really want people to listen if they're listening. I created 20 videos in March. It got me 0 clients.
Yeah.
I did 0 videos in April. I got 10 clients. Okay. So you really need to understand that for you to show up, it's not necessarily going to convert into clients. It might convert into leads. It might convert into somebody recognizing your brand, and they will put it in the back of their hand and they will remember it. And next time they see your content or post, they'll go, oh, she's the one that's talking about school. I remember Claudia. So that's what it is. So I'm only doing videos for recognition and awareness. So when they see me the second or third time, they'll go, oh, I know who she is, right? But you don't need to do videos to get clients.
Let's go back to that, just go quickly, because that's significantly what you said. So when you did the videos, you got no clients, and then you didn't do videos, and then you got all these clients. Now, what most people are saying, well, how can that be?
Okay, I'm glad you asked. So I have a strategy that I use. So this is something that I do. I open spots. Like, say, every month I will announce that I have 10 openings, right? And I'll say, hey, we're opening 10 spots. First in, first served. After that, we close. So what happens with most coaches, they tend to be open 24/7. Yeah. Business is always open.
Yeah.
And what happens, you kind of get into kind of a friend zone. People think, oh, she's going to be open next month. I can get back to her next month or the following month or the following month. There's no urgency, right?
Totally.
So what I tend to do, I've got 10 spots open, first in, first served. And after that, we're going to put you on a waiting list. Okay. So we take it away from people and we go, sorry, spot's taken. We'll put you on a waiting list. And I go, would you like me to put you on a waiting list? And they usually go, yes, I do. So I then reach out to them, let's say in 2-3 weeks time. And I say, hey, I've got a couple of spots opening this month. Would you like to take one of the spots? And guess what they say?
Yeah.
Yeah. Because you take it away from them, right? So if you always open, they'll go, oh, there's no sense of urgency. But if I'm kind of going, I'm sorry, we're taken, but I can put you on a waiting list. So that's what we do. So every month I open 10 spots, and then I'll let people know if they're taken, and then we put them on a waiting list. So that's what I did in April. And that's where we got all the clients signing up. And I do this every month. But in March, I wanted to see whether all these videos will actually make a difference. And it didn't make a difference. I was basically promoting myself. I was promoting the business. I was promoting the offer, but I wasn't giving anybody a sense of urgency. Okay. And usually I tend to close all of my clients through content and through emails.
When you say content, what content are you talking about?
So, for example, you would have seen my content inside Facebook. If you're scrolling, I will probably announce the offers or the opening. Hey, I got 5 spots today. I got 10 spots. I just launched a new offer literally yesterday. We already signed up 20 clients in 24 hours. Like, it's insane. So it's the content that gets people interested. And then I take that content and I put it into email sequences.
Okay.
So it doesn't matter how big is your database, whether you have, 300 people. I've got clients that got 300 people and they're still, do revenue with that.
Yes.
Or you have, 5,000 people on your database. So this Google document that I've created, it gives us around a 40% conversion, meaning if I was going to send out 100 emails,
Yes.
I set it up in a way that I've asked them, are you in or are you out? So again, it's a process of elimination.
Yes.
The process of elimination, it's even more exciting than the process of yeses, because that energy that you're putting in chasing people,
Yes.
it's a bit funky. It's a bit funky, right? So I just remove them
Yeah.
and I move on to the next.
Yeah.
So we send email sequences, and that's where we sign up all their clients. So that's why I don't need to do sales calls.
It's really interesting, actually, because you're actually running your virtual world, the back end, how you are as a person. You're straightforward. It's either I've got this is how it is. Not from a point of being rude, but
No, I know what you're saying. I know what you're saying.
it makes
I know
no
what you're
sense
saying.
beating around the bush, right? Because
Yeah.
I'm here to give you, amazing value, and this is what I have. Do you want it or not? And that's it.
I know what you're saying. I literally had a client last week that she said to me, I like what you're doing. Would you hop on a call with me? And I go, no, I don't. I don't take calls. And I say, you either in or out. Yeah, I got 2 spots left. And I thought, gosh, she's gonna hate me. Yeah, she's gonna think I'm really sarcastic and really a hardball, right?
Yeah.
And she was all right then. So the moment she paid me, I showed up on the call.
Cool.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then I go, I'm sorry. I'm sure you thought I was really rude and I'm really kind of, cocky, but I'm not by nature. She goes, no. I actually really admired you. Appreciated that. So, and I think so. I don't create to get paid. Yeah. So it's like, it's the opposite, right? So I get paid to create.
Yes.
Yeah. Very different game here. Very different game. Yeah.
I totally understand. And I'm from the mindset that I'm not here to sell, I'm here to help.
Correct. Yeah.
Pure and simple. And I'm not from that point of view, from the selling point of view, where that mindset's going to work because that's what's going to get me in the client. That's just my nature anyway. But again, when we were speaking quite some time about getting that balance, I never got that balance right for quite some time, and I was always helping, but never really helping myself. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
Rather getting that balance right.
Yeah, what's going to happen also, you will probably start attracting the right people. You're going to start attracting the people that you actually enjoy working with, because they're the fast action takers. The people that usually move fast, they're action takers. They're people that don't really like to be in pain. Like, I don't like to be in pain myself. So if I have a problem, I will immediately try to solve that problem. But then you have people that kind of sit on the fence, continuously sit on the fence. And they'll go, maybe, let me think about it. Oh, I'm too busy. Oh God, let me go and ask my next door neighbor. They'll find every excuse under the sun. So they are the people I don't want to work with. And I'm very, so I'm just looking for the 1% of the population.
The one that's ready.
Help.
The ones that are ready.
The ones that are ready, because it doesn't matter how ready you are. If they're not ready, it won't make a difference.
Totally. Yeah. No, that's totally right. It is about statehood. Your state is a certain way. Yeah, I'm ready. But not everybody is. So you just gotta wait to be ready. They're not at that stage in their life, which is fair enough. They're going through the journey, right? They're going through the process.
And then they'll come back. Like, after 3 months later, they'll say, Claudia, you'll be on my mind. You're always the one, but I'm ready now.
Totally.
I can't push that person. They have to be ready. And I go, okay, let's go. Yeah, so they're ready.
Exactly. And a lot of my clients, when they come to me, they say, thank you, Eli, for not being pushy, because I'm sick to death for going to people. They're so pushy with the sales. And what people don't understand is, hey, if the person ain't ready, it ain't ready. So the best thing to do, you're better off actually sitting with the client. They may not be ready for you, but they're ready for somebody else. So what I tend to do is that, you know what, you're not ready to work with me because of A, B, and C. Do you agree? Yeah.
Yeah.
Then
Yeah.
go to, and I can show you someone you could go to right now to help you.
Yeah,
And that's
exactly.
the best thing to do. Otherwise, a lot of people think you're losing a client and you're not, because I
No.
believe in the currency of trust. Forget the money
Mm.
situation. What we
Yeah,
actually deal with is trust. And if
yeah.
you can't accumulate that trust, then you're never going to create opportunity or money. You've got to deal with the currency of trust first. And then you're in a position to be abundant in anything you do because you're trusted.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, trust is very important, especially, people invest a lot of money in you. So yeah, you have to be trusted in order to take you on board.
And how do you think that we can build the trust? Because obviously it's a situation, the more money you ask for, the more money you're charging, the higher that trust has got to be. So how do you build that trust, especially when you're doing high ticket sales? Where does that come from and how do you accumulate that?
Um, Well, now because I made it super easy for them, right? So I just go, well, you pay me weekly. You can pay me full if you like to, and you're obviously going to get a really substantial savings. So we give bonuses and reward people for paying in full. But if they choose to pay us weekly, then I'll just, I usually say, look, I take no prisoners. There's no lengthy terms and conditions, no risky agreements. You can leave any time. If you don't like it, like if you're coming into the program and you see something you don't like, you can get your money back. Yeah, I'm just not going to argue. So immediately that can go out. So that's, to me, something that really changed, kind of, because most of them kind of really feel overwhelmed with the investment. Yeah. Back in the days when I used to charge, $25,000, $30,000, most of the times I used to get clients when I used to do a virtual event. So they'll spend 5 days with me. So on day 1, 2, 3, 4, and we open the shopping cart on day 4 and 5, and that's when they buy. So that trust happens during the process of going live and teaching and mentoring and showing them, that they don't know what they don't know. So they think what they're currently doing is the best possible way, but we're showing them there's a different way. So then they kind of go, oh, I wasn't even aware that's even humanly possible. Yeah. So that's when they used to buy, and they'll buy. I usually used to be a full purchase. So that's why I used to do so many virtual events, because they got enough time to get to know you, trust you, like you, and eventually buy from me. So virtual events are phenomenal if you're selling a high ticket. We got clients selling 50,000, 100,000 offers, and and you see they're all doing it. You'll see Tony Robbins doing it. You see Dean Graziosi. You'll see, God knows who is out there. I'm trying to think who does all the virtual events, but they all do it because they know people will buy at the end of the event. So yeah.
Okay, so we can gain trust through making a better offer, making that better, taking them through a stage, going through the process of going from one stage to another, give them time to think and etc. That's one way of generating trust. But I suppose it's also there's a situation of generating trust is dealing with our own personalities and how we come across, which is very important. What do you think we can do as personalities to generate that trust as a person? Now, I'm going to start off here with you. I trusted you pretty much straight away because it was straightforward. You could have done the nicey nice thing and not beaten around the bush and whatever else. And I trust you straight away. And then we had a few conversations going backwards and forwards. And with the way you replied, I trusted you because you were straight. From your point of view, what generates trust from a personality point of view?
I'm actually a true believer in the energy. Like, we meet millions of people every day, and you just don't know. Sometimes I just get this feeling that I'll go, I just don't really like this person. I don't think I like to work with them, or I don't trust them. It's just something that happens, right? Now, most times that I purchase myself, whether it's a mentorship program or guidance or, consultancy, is usually a person that I like, whether it's a personality, whether it's the way they act or behave. It's just an energy. It's just an energy, right? It could be somebody that I thought, gosh, this person, and I can give you like some example. I know that some people out there that probably do way better than another person that I decided to go and work with. But I just didn't like the personality. I thought whether that would be sleazy, it's kind of slimy, like, kind of going, there's something that didn't really attract me. And then I go, you know what? I know he's probably 10 times better than this guy, but I like this guy because he's honest, he's down to earth, he's trustworthy. Yeah. And that's how trust comes. Yeah. It's just something that you feel. And that's how I trust anyway. I don't know whether other people function that way, but for me, it's like a matter of, love this person. I want to know who they are and I want to work with them. Yeah.
I see.
That's, yeah.
No, you're totally right. No, I'm the same way. I like people that I think what it is. I like people that are similar to me because then I know where they stand. I mean, I can trust people beyond that, but it does come down to do you do what you say type thing. And a lot of different things, right? And are you genuine? Whatever that may mean.
And actually, now that I think of it, because I was trying to think about my 3 mentors that I ever had in my life, all 3 are men and all 3 are super, super vulnerable, sensitive human beings. So there was something there that I think was something that I could relate to. So extremely successful, like they're all like 7, 8 figure mentors, but they're either spiritual or kind of having this beautiful energy about them that I really, really loved. And that was it, rather than going for, the sleek salesman, like, I don't know, the Dean Graziosi of the world, or, but I don't know, there's another guy that is out there that is super, super famous. And I go, oh gosh, I just can't see myself working with him. So that was really it for me. There was like the vulnerability, the fact that most entrepreneurs have some kind of an ego, okay? But at the same time, they're super, super vulnerable. We are very vulnerable people. We get very deeply emotionally affected. So there's that balance. There's the ego and there's the vulnerability that it has to balance, somehow. And then we feel like completed. So this is the kind of person I like to work with.
Let's go back onto the spiritual side of it, because you was talking about your mentors, and there seems to be a pattern between them all to do with the spiritual side. Now, I would surmise that you're very similar, because I tend to find, and I get that feeling, you have that spirituality. I mean, most listeners are thinking, what are you talking about, Eli? I don't see what you're talking about. But I think you have that kind of rooted spiritual side to you. Now, you've gone through a huge amount. I mean, we've just skimmed over the surface. I can see there's lots that we can speak about, but I can see that there's this thread going through your life of underlined strength and spirituality that keeps you rooted and going. What is that? What is that faith? What is that faith that keeps you going? Is there some kind of religion you do? Is there a third party that's always kept you going? Is there something going from your childhood that keeps you? What is it that keeps you rooted and always going forward?
Look, I'm a great believer. I'm a great believer in spirituality. Like I study many different things. Like, when I was younger, I went through the Kabbalah scene. Then I went through
fellow Kabbalists. I like that.
Kabbalah. I went through Kabbalah. I went through Buddhism. I tried and then I went into alchemy. So I went into alchemy world. I've done it all. I was raised as a Christian, as a Catholic. My grandmother will drag me to church every Sunday morning. So I will go to church. So I have a belief in the system. I have a belief in the universe. Whatever people like to call it, God or whatever. I believe. Probably I'm a bit more kind of, scientific. I kind of look at things and I go, well, is there really a God, or is there something like a will of nothingness, an energy out there? Yeah. So I guess I'm kind of spiritual. I'm very aware of my surroundings. As I say, I'm kind of very intuitive at the same time. So I believe in in the force of the universe. So I think that what keeps me going and believing in faith. I think you need to have some kind of faith. Otherwise you feel like, who the hell am I? What am I
Yeah.
doing here?
Mm, mm.
So that's always been within me all the time. And also the enforcement of value. Yeah, that was always been very important to me. And love. So that always been it's always very close to me. And I can peak, as I said, I can peak the energy, I can peak the people, I can see the people around me. So I kind of go, you're the one. Yeah, I love you, I like you. Like, for example, this morning, I was just laughing when you text me and you wanted to do a podcast. And I say to my partner, I'm so not going to do this. Because I thought, no, I'm not doing that. Like, I never do that sort of stuff. I got invited before, I either forget about it or I'm too busy or decline. And I thought, you know what, there's something here that I think I would probably enjoy having a conversation with a complete stranger.
Yeah.
And, hopefully we became good friends. We're not strangers anymore. So there you have it. That's how the universe works.
Exactly, and I totally believe that we're all connected. I have a strong spiritual faith myself, and I think it's very important, as you said, is to have some kind of faith. It doesn't matter really what that faith is, but for you to get through those really hard times, because it's not all about successes. You have your trials and tribulations that we go
Oh,
through.
yes.
So we are always trialed, and we always go through our tribulation. So you do need some kind of a faith system, and it doesn't matter
Yes.
what system it is, but you have to have that to keep you going through those hard times. And sometimes it is a third party that that keeps you going, or something completely different. And I can see that in you, because you have the yellow brick road, I call it, with you. You follow the yellow brick road, and you just, okay, I'm going to make some mistakes, but it doesn't matter. Movement is better than procrastination, right?
Yes, momentum. I call it momentum. Yeah, it's the most addictive drug. Momentum is the most addictive drug. I honestly believe that, because you need to move. Yeah, otherwise you kind of end up in a stagnated water in a river that is not going anywhere.
No.
So I think you need to keep moving. So yeah, definitely.
No.
Yeah.
Okay, well, listen, and we've been nattering for
I know. Look at the time. My
for a
gosh.
long time. And you know what? Like I said, you're one of these people. You've got so much going in your life. I could easily sit here for the next 3-4 hours, listeners, for sure. But she's got a life.
Yes,
So I'm going
that's
to
right.
let her go.
I gotta get up and do and cook a meal. It's
Exactly.
almost like, gosh, it's almost 6 o'clock. Okay, 6 p.m. So we almost chatted for 2 hours. It's awesome.
I'm telling you. So I'm just gonna
Yeah.
put it to a head there, and maybe we'll have Claudia another time. But for now, I'm just gonna let her go, because
Yes.
when I get to a state I start chatting too much, then we have to be careful. Otherwise, we're all in trouble.
Absolutely. Well, I hope I could give some guidance to whoever is listening tonight, and maybe some understanding about the coaching industry, whether you're a service provider or a coach, or whether you're actually selling a physical product. It's irrelevant whether you're good at playing the music, whether you want to teach how to play the violin or the guitar or the piano, how to play chess. It's like, there's so many talents out there, and that's what I do. So yeah, I teach
And
people how to
Claudia's
make their
definitely the
reality.
person to go to with her experience. She's the person to go to. Now, Claudia, how do we get hold of you? Tell us how we get hold of you.
Okay, so Claudia Karba, if you Google me on social media, if you're going to Facebook, you can find me there. I'm in all social media platforms. So it's probably the best way. Or maybe I can send you some details if you want to about the school community. So I'm inside there. I have 2 communities there at the moment. So one, it's only $100 a month. So people are coming in at the moment. We already have 20 people joining this today, which is really cool. And I kind of teach them the basic stuff. Okay, if they just want to get a bit of a taste of it. And then there's other 3 communities, of course, where they're kind of people that are searching a bit of velocity. I love that word, velocity. Yeah, because it's the most important part of your business, because you don't have momentum and velocity, then probably you're going to be struggling there a little bit. So if you want to work closer with me, that's the other 3 community channels in there. But yeah, so that's probably the best way. And
Okay.
if somebody's asking you, maybe after the interview, I can send you some information or
Yeah,
a link.
definitely. And
Or
I'll
they can join.
put all your details in the footnotes anyway, so that
Okay.
make it as
Easy.
easy and painless as
Yeah.
possible.
Yeah.
You know, so that
Easy.
won't be a problem. But Claudia, thank you for your time. I really do appreciate it. And thank you once again.
Pleasure. It's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you so much, Ellie. Take care. Good night.
And to the listeners, may I say thank you for being with us, and sayonara. I will speak to you very soon.
Bye.